Welcome to Getting Unstuck with Wendy B. Thank you for coming. And today I thought we'd talk about the power of our mind. I had an experience this last, I had an experience with my health this week that I was just sort of blown away. I've experienced different things over the years, but this just really blew me away. So I'm just going to share about that and some of the steps that I'm taking and continuing to take. And for the last 6 months, I've been in a lot of pain with an old knee injury. And I don't know if any of you are like this, but I'm pretty stoic. And that doesn't always work. It gets you through things, but it doesn't always work for your own well-being. So I'm Wendy Bergen, and I am a serial entrepreneur. I'm a podcaster. I have a podcast, Thriving at 60, and I'm a best-selling author of Getting Unstuck, which is 30 ways to turn your limiting barriers into clarity, freedom, and power. You can get that on Amazon in digital or paperback, and other stores. So yeah, that's a little about me. So let's get to the power of our mind. So like I was saying, I've been suffering for over 6 months, and finally in November I went to see my doctor and set up a doctor's appointment. You don't see anybody live nowadays, it seems. And she called me, and then we set up me getting x-rays, and so I went and got x-rays, and then set up getting blood tests, and that was in November and December. And then finally I got to see the specialist in the better part, one part in February, and one time the specialist in March, and it's all by phone. So I've been having heat problems, and I've been having knee problems, and I'm like, I'm too young to be suffering with this. So they told me I had plantar something on my feet, and that I had osteoporosis and arthritis in my knee. And they wanted to give me cortisone shots, and I'm like, no, I'm a person who eats organic, I eat healthy. Why would I wanna, have myself be shot up with this stuff? And it's only temporary anyways. The pain release is only temporary. So let's get to the source of it. And never thinking that part of my pain could be part of my mind. And so I was waiting on seeing a physio. I don't see him until March 31st. And this was a couple of weeks ago, and I have a committed listener now. A committed listener, and I might do a podcast or a Facebook Live and podcast at the same time about a committed listener. But a committed listener is, for me, someone who's really powerful and in action in the world. And, they listen committedly to the projects you're up to, or what you're up to in your life, so that they listen to you powerfully, bigger than who you think you are, so that you can produce the results that you want. And I was a bit nervous asking this woman to be my committed listener, but I asked her, and she said yes. And I was like, yes. So we have a 20-minute laser call, and for 20 minutes once a week. And I'm so grateful. And when I talked to her a week and a half ago, I was, almost in tears from the pain. Like, if you were going to measure my pain from 0 to 10, it was at a 15. And for me to say that, like, like I have such a high pain tolerance that's why I say being stoic doesn't always work. So it has to be really, 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 really bad before I say anything. And she said to me, so what are you waiting for to release some of this pain? And I said, well, I don't get physio till the 31st. She says, 2 weeks away. You cannot wait that long. Your game in the world is too big. And I've forgotten, the power of my word is that all children on the planet will be valued, appreciated, respected, and loved, and then in my lifetime, all forms of abuse end, and that we flourish, and so she said, like, with that kind of big game in the world, you can't be taken out for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or rather. And I knew it was starting. The pain was starting to affect my productivity. So, anyways, I got off the phone and I thought, I promised her I'd be in action that day. And she says, I want you to see someone today. And I remembered this doctor who I've seen in the past. He used to be my general practitioner. And then he did a lot of things naturally. That's why I liked him. And then he moved. And he started a practice in Langley and Abbotsford where he just does pain relief, laser, acupuncture, and different things. And so I called his Langley office that day, and he wasn't available, but I called the Abbotsford office where he works out of, and they had one spot. Now I had to juggle and change a few things, but I went, you know what, I'm going to be in action. And I couldn't believe the difference, even though I was still in pain, like when I put my foot on the gas pedal of the car and I have an automatic. It was painful, and I had to drive a good hour. But I went to see Wayne, and he did I told him what was going on, and he did the acupuncture, the laser acupuncture, and he said, even though structurally there, you do have these things going on in your knee, that pain is neurological. And I went, well, what does that mean? And he said that that most of the pain is because especially chronic pain, is that we've trained the brain to expect it, so it's there, constant, and that we can reverse that pattern. And I went like, okay, how do I do that? Like, and he said, I want you to close your eyes, and he said, visualize, a time when you felt really, really safe. And this picture of my step-grandma, Grandma Baker, came to my mind, and she was this roly-poly, for me, a happy, loving woman. She was about 8 inches shorter than me, and she just loved me unconditionally. She just thought the world of me. And you've listened to some of my background, and I didn't have a safe childhood. There was a lot of emotionally, physically abuse as a child, and so there wasn't many times where I felt safe. But I remember feeling really safe when she would come to visit, and she would sleep in my bed, and we'd hang out. So Wayne says, what are you thinking of? I guess I have a smile on my face. I said, I'm thinking of my Grandma Baker. And he said, great, so keep visualizing that. And now he said, say, I'm 100% well. I'm 100% well. And what I've been also doing is saying, I'm 100% emotionally well, I'm 100% mentally well, I'm 100% physically well, I'm 100% spiritually well, and I'm 100%, my well-being is 100% well. And he said, okay, keep saying you're 100%, your well-being is 100% well. You're 100%, your body, your whole body is 100% well. And so I did that for, 5 minutes or whatever in the office, because it was a quick visit, no more than 15, 20 minutes. And it went, my pain went from 15 to a 5. And I was like, wow. And he said, now keep doing that every morning and every night. I've been doing it more often, but he said, do it every morning and every night. And I was like, oh, good, there's something I can do. And then what I noticed the next morning, and what I also did was I remembered the reflexologist I had been working with, and she's more than a reflexologist. She does amazing. She's just an amazing woman out of Langley. And if you want to know, just go to my website, wendyberry.com, and send me something, and I'll tell you who she is. Because I can't think of her information right now. But anyways, she's amazing, and she spends 2 hours with you, and she spends an hour with your feet, and your legs, and then an hour giving you a body massage with essential oils. And she says she spends about $40 on essential oils as she's doing the massage. She's well worth going to. Anyways, so I made an appointment with her for this Saturday. And but when I noticed the next day, and this was Friday, I went to see Wayne, the doctor, on Thursday, is Friday morning. Normally when I get up in the morning and my feet touch the floor, I'm in agony right away. And I wasn't in agony. And it was like, wow. And so I went throughout the day, and then I went to see this lady on Saturday. My leg was painful through the day, but I was able to have my feet on the floor without agony, and that was like a miracle in itself. I went, wow, this mind stuff, the power of our mind. And I've got to keep remembering that I'm retraining the brain. And so I'm breaking up the pattern. And so then I went and had this reflexology work done. And then I still felt a bit of pain, but it was down to, like I say, manageable, about 5. And then for 2.5 days, about 2 days after the reflexologist, I was totally pain-free for 2.5 days. Now, I've been back in pain for a couple of days, but not, like, I still can touch my feet on the floor and not be in agony. And I've been in agony as soon as my feet touch the floor for 6 months. So that's the power of the brain. And I was like, wow. So, when you combine taking care of yourself, like now I'm in action, looking at what other things I can do. Like I'm going to see the physio on Wednesday. I'm seeing Wayne again on Monday for the laser acupuncture. He said to come for 5 to 6 weeks, once a week, to get that done, to retrain my brain, keep doing the visualization work and the meditation work. And then I'm seeing the reflexologist again on Saturday. So she said in 10 days she wanted to see me, and then I would see her once a month. And I'm going to the physio to strengthen my knee. It's not going to, like the doctor said, physio won't make the pain disappear, but he may give you exercises that if you do them regularly will strengthen your knee, and the stronger your knee is, the better it is, right? The more flexible. And what I noticed too after the reflexologist worked on my leg and feet is for the first time in a long time, like I don't know how long, I was able to bend my knee. I haven't been able to bend my knee freely for years, and I was able to bend my knee. So the power of the mind and the power of working with people who are really committed to your well-being, right? So, and the other thing too is I saw that because I've created a committed listener, I've created a future to live into, like bigger than who I think I am, is like ending abuse on the planet in my lifetime, and that all children on the planet are loved, respected, appreciated, and valued. And what's happening is people like it's going to take a global team to have that happen. And but that's what, I was ready to throw in the towel 10 days ago. It was just like, oh, I can't take this anymore. To where I was able to function again. And I would say my pain level is at a 5 today, but it's like I can function. And so it's the power of your mind. And I also lead a course called Reclaim the Power. I'm getting certified in that, and it's all about our disempowering conversations. So there's something there that if we have a game or a word about playing bigger than our circumstances, then when our circumstances are like what mine have been lately, painful, I can still play out there powerfully because I have a game bigger than my feelings and emotions. And another thing is we learned that the word, when we want to have power, we need to be responsible to bring the power to us. And the word responsibility is confused sometimes. It's like used like morality, like you need to be responsible. But it's like responsible is the ability to respond rather than react. That's how I'm using the word responsibility. So I just thought I'd share that as the power of our mind. And I'm going to explore that, and I'm going to start sharing more about that possibly on my Facebook Lives and on my podcasts, because it's like, it blew me away that I was able to have 2.5 days totally pain-free, and that I'm still continuing to have no pain when I put my foot on the floor, which is a miracle, and that I'm at a level of 5 rather than a 15 out of 10. I'm at a 5. And my goal this week is to bring it to, if I could go 2.5 days last week, let's make her 4 and 5 days, or even the whole week pain-free. Wouldn't that be cool? So thank you for listening to Wendy B, Getting Unstuck with Wendy B. And I'll be putting this on my podcast, Thriving at 60. You can go to my webpage, wendybergen.com, and book a complimentary session with me where we'll look and explore what's in your way, that if that was out of the way, you would have more effectiveness to produce the results that you really want in life. And don't forget, you can go to Amazon and order my book, Getting Unstuck, 30 Ways to Turn Your Limiting Barriers into Clarity, Freedom, and Power. It's in digital and in paperback, still on sale, because my goal is to have 1 billion copies out there by July 22nd, 2025. And it's a powerful book. It's a workbook. And if my promise to you is that if you read it and you do the questions after each chapter and are authentically honest, you will move forward. So thank you for coming to Getting Unstuck with Wendy B. Looking forward to talking to you next week. And have a fabulous day. Keep thriving, and let's get you unstuck. Bye now.